Have you ever thought about where your produce comes from? Most grocery chains receive produce from various local and national farmers. In fact, there are about 3.4 million farmers in the United States today. But of that staggering number, only 45,000 are Black farmers. At the Better Buggy, we are a proud group of Atlanta-based Black-owned farmers, selling produce locally and nationwide. Our easy-to-navigate online platform makes it easy for you to make a one-time purchase or to simplify your life by subscribing to our weekly produce box. Whichever frequency you choose, you can order with confidence, knowing you'll receive 100% organic farm-fresh produce. If you're looking for a thoughtful gift for a loved one that they'd actually find useful, be sure to pop by our online store where you can snag a gift card your recipient can use to order their own produce and t-shirts. Ready to start supporting local Black-owned farms and making healthier food decisions? Visit thebetterbuggy.com now to start shopping.
Many of you may remember this police officer who was undercover at a protest, and white cops beat him up an inch of his life, and they didn't even realize they were beating on a cop. He was a cop too. Well, those cops are about to go to trial, ladies and gentlemen. And the real key significant thing about it, they selected an all-white jury. Ladies and gentlemen, this story came out on St. Louis Public Radio. All right. So as you can see right here, these cops are getting ready to go to trial for beating Luther Hall, but they made sure they selected an all-white jury, which I think should never, ever be allowed in America unless they can prove that the crime took place in an all-white area. Okay. But in any other circumstance, no. All-white juries are not concerned about who's guilty or not. They are only concerned about who's Black and who's white. That's it. They have no other concern. And in fact, I believe they should be outlawed. They're not good juries anyway. So let's get into this story. June 8th, 2021, an all-white jury has been seated for a second time to decide the fate of white St. Louis police officers accused of assaulting a Black colleague who was working undercover as a protester in 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, here are those cops that are going to trial right here. Okay. So a defense attorney, Scott Rosenblum, successfully argued the lone Black man who had made it to the final panel should be dismissed because he has a cousin who is incarcerated and is still in touch with him. His cousin's mother, he added, the government routinely uses incarcerated loved ones as a reason to strike jurors from panels involving Black defendants. You see what they do? Okay, so if you got somebody incarcerated in your family, what they're trying to do is make sure you can never be on a jury for that reason. Does that even sound right? I mean, you didn't get incarcerated, so how does it apply to you? Wow. These people will come up with any reason to strike Black people from a jury. Rosenblum also argued that he was striking a white woman from the alternate juror for the same reason. Yeah, but I don't think anybody should be struck from a jury because they may have a relative that's incarcerated. That doesn't make sense to me. They didn't get incarcerated. What are you doing that for? I think I do know, there's a lot of Black people in this country that are incarcerated. So it is, if you have a jury pool that you're trying to pick from, you might have Black people that will have relatives and even friends that are incarcerated, or they may know somebody incarcerated. So that to me just lessens the chance of someone black being on the jury by doing that. But to me, it shouldn't be done at all. First Assistant U.S. Attorney Carrie Constranen um, invoked that what's known as the Batson challenge, forcing the defense to provide a race neutral reason for striking the jury, saying that the trial involves a racial component because the accused officers are white and the victim is black. She also argued the potential juror's cousin was convicted in 1996, so enough time has passed for the juror to remain impartial. Okay, Judge E. Richard Weber denied the challenge. The accused officer, Christopher Mayers, and Dustin Boone are on trial this week for the second time on charges related to the assault of Officer Luther Hall. The jury includes 9 women and 3 men. There are 2 women and 1 man as alternates. An all-white jury was seated for the first trial in March, okay? And then they picked a second all-white jury for these 2 officers. Mm, mm, mm. So altogether, there are 5 officers that were federally indicted on charges related to the assault. Hall was working as an undercover protester in 2017 following the acquittal of a white St. Louis police officer who had been charged with the murder of a black man following a pursuit. 2 of the officers accused of assaulting Hall have already pled guilty and are waiting sentencing. 3 went on trial in March, which resulted in acquittal for 1 of them and a partial verdict for Mayer and a hung jury for Boone. Mayers is still facing a destruction of evidence charge for allegedly destroying Hall's cell phone. Hall captured on some of the assault. He captured it on his cell phone. That's what he did. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, I'm starting to see more and more stories of cops doing that, where if you are filming them as you're being arrested, they will break your cell phone or they'll throw it. But the thing that makes these officers stupid, each time they do that, y'all, it gets captured on their body cameras. Yeah, they got sense enough to take your cell phone and destroy it, but they don't have sense enough to switch off the body camera before they do it. That's that high IQ they've been telling us about, y'all. That's that high IQ. All right, back to this. All right. Boone is again facing a deprivation of civil rights charge, and it carries a sentence up to 10 years, which we know they don't give them those kind of sentences, y'all. They just don't. That's the truth. Monday, the jury selection process began with 90 potential jurors divided into 3 groups. The Eastern District of Missouri draws from 13 rural and mostly white counties, as well as the city of St. Louis. So that's how they get their jurors. All right, so it just has the counties. It includes Crawford, Dent, Franklin, Jefferson, Lincoln, Maries, Phelps, St. Charles, St. Francis, Warren, Washington, and St. Louis counties. Okay, on Tuesday, Rosenblum said prosecutors moved to strike most of the out of state jurors because the further outside the city you get, the more conservative and law and order it is. Let me just tell you something, because I used to hear Trump talk all that law and order. America is probably the most outlawed country on the planet. There is no law and order here. Okay, many things prove law and order is not in America. The way your cops conduct themselves, the mass shootings that go on here on a daily basis, the discrimination that we see in housing and even among the citizens, Karens and Darrens walking up and trying to start a situation to justify calling the police. America's a very outlaw place. You don't have no law and order here. You've never had it here. America's a very violent place. It's not safe to be in America if you're a foreigner. You think you come into a better land? You're coming into violence. There's no law and order here. That's just fantasy talk. He also argued that prosecutors moved to strike mostly men from the jury because he believed that mostly male juries favor the clients during the first trial. Um, Opening arguments to begin Tuesday, sounding mostly similar to arguments made during the first trial, with some exceptions. So, ladies and gentlemen, when I see stuff like this, I don't have a lot of hope of them doing too much of nothing. And if these cops do get convicted, they're going to get the most feather light sentence possible from that jury. They're not going to give them nothing they really truly deserve. They're going to get the lightest sentence ever. You know, they I bet if a black man went out here right now and killed a dog in public, he would get a longer sentence than these two cops will. And that's the truth. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell. And I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.